Episode number 48. The new difficulty plaguing e-commerce. It's a freaking plague, man. It's like the bubonic. It's quite annoying. And this is something that's kind of close to home because this is a difficulty, a problem that has very directly personally affected you boys here, Nate and Scotty. This has been a huge annoyance in our business, and it has caused us to make less money than we normally would. And I haven't really seen a whole lot of people talking about it, especially in the e-com space. Haven't really seen a whole lot of people talking about it. I think it's something that you guys should be aware of, obviously being involved in this space yourselves. So let's talk about it. What's this new difficulty? What do we got going on here? Basically, the global supply chain is in shambles. It's basically fucked. I mean, like, excuse my French there, but it's pretty messed up right now. And there's reasons for this. Scotty's saying that my thought process here is highly likely, but also speculative. Regardless, I'm going to share it with you. Why is the global supply chain messed up? Well, first off, what's the problem? The problem is basically delays. It's taking a lot longer. Specifically, I mean, I'm not sure exactly, shipping from other countries, shipping to other countries, and we don't really do a lot of that. The main thing that we're doing is shipping from China to the US. We order inventory in bulk, put it on a plane or a ship, and get it from China to the US to one of our fulfillment centers so that we can ship orders out to our customers. And in regards to China to the US shipping, we have been seeing some really, really significant delays. And these delays have really just made keeping inventory in stock and doing like inventory forecasting, deciding how much to order and when, it's made it extremely difficult. And as a result, currently, right now, as we're recording this, we are out of stock of like basically our best selling variants, our best selling SKUs, which has caused our ad results to take a significant hit. And right now, we've kind of been forced to scale down. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest here. We have been seeing unprofitable days. Not every day, but we've been seeing them. And that, I mean, that's after a stretch of probably like 6+ months where we didn't have a single unprofitable day. Every single day we're making profit. And, most days making really, really solid profit. Recently, because of all these delays, it's hurt. It's hurt, and we're working through it. But we wanted to like kind of give you guys our take on everything that's going here. And we're not making this episode to scare you away from doing ecom. Actually, quite the opposite. Problems like this are just like part and parcel with this business. You have to kind of like take that into consideration, and things like this are always going to be happening. But there's always solutions. There's always ways to get around them. So my theory for why this is happening, like why is the global supply chain so delayed? Obviously, you guys, 98% of you are going to know about the whole thing that happened in the Suez Canal a couple weeks ago, where that ship got stuck and it was stuck there for a while. That obviously affected the entire global supply chain. That's not even what we're talking about. This has been going on before that. And that was for shipping. I think that's mainly affecting shipping from Asia to Europe because the Suez Canal is, that's the route. The Suez Canal is not anywhere near the US. That's not what ships take to get from China to the US. But I think it probably will have effects that are yet to be seen on everything, even stuff that's not going from Asia to Europe. And my theory here, and I really don't think this is a theory. I think this is like, this is pretty standard stuff. Basically, what's happened is coronavirus happened last year. Because of coronavirus, stimulus happened, stimulus checks. Like, I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the US where the government is just giving out free money to just about everyone except for me. I haven't gotten any stimulus, unfortunately. I mean, I guess fortunately, because, I'm in a fortunate enough position to not need it. But Corona happened. Everyone's getting all this free money. Because of all this free money, everyone's buying a bunch of stuff. You combine the stimulus with the fact that people just need to buy stuff, like especially online, and their buying habits change. People are stuck in their homes. They're probably buying more stuff because of that anyway. All these factors have led to a huge amount of consumer demand, and a lot of companies are trying to produce a lot of products and are shipping, the global shipping capabilities just haven't been able to keep up. Like that's really the gist of it from my perspective. Scotty, I know you think I'm speculating. I think that's basically what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. I can't confirm or deny that.
Do you have an
But it
alternative
seems
theory?
reasonable. Do I have an alternative theory? I mean, there's this thing, the pandemic going on, and I don't know what exactly the situation in China is.
Scamdemic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we really know what's going on in China. So could they be having issues with COVID again? I think it's certainly possible. Um,
Nah, I don't think that's it.
I don't know. I just maybe they're just fucking lazy. Maybe the people at the that are unloading the ships or the customs agents are just lazy and using COVID as an excuse. I think COVID is such a hilarious excuse for like everything. Like Facebook, oh, we have fewer support agents available because of COVID. It's been a year. Everyone works from home. People are literally responding to messages on Facebook Messenger. How can COVID be affecting this? It's just
Eh,
like it's like a kid now I can do my homework because of the pandemic. It's a bullshit excuse.
the pandemic ate my homework.
The pandemic ate my homework. Pandemic ate the notification. So I don't know. I think there could be other explanations, or you could be right that it's Corona stimulus, consumer demand, and therefore just more demand than there is supply for logistics and delivery from China to the US. I think that's certainly possible. But
Yeah.
we've
I do
also
want to.
been
I do want
told
to talk
that
about.
we've
Oh,
also been told that essentially we're being screwed because certain big companies that start with E and end with pull.
that didn't really work out too well. He's talking about the Steve Jobs one.
Yeah, the Steve Jobs one. Steve is sending a bunch of products from China apparently, which seems
He's sending them
surprising at
from the
this time of
grave.
year.
He's still tormenting us from the grave. It's fucked up.
Yes, I don't know what he's shipping because seems early for an iPhone release.
Yeah. So the
Um,
background on that is our sourcing our in-house sourcing guy told us that part of the reason that we're seeing so much delays with our shipping stuff, and when I say delays, it's like the factory ships all the units out and then they just sit at FedEx for like 2 to 3 weeks until they get on a plane or on a boat. And he said that part of the reason for that is because Apple is just taking up all the space because they're shipping a ridiculous amount of whatever it is that they're about to release. Something along those lines, maybe. Or maybe, I mean, maybe it's not even something they're about to release. It could just be existing products. But that's what he said.
correct. So that's what we've been told, and apparently there's just prioritization. Bigger companies get prioritized the same way we get prioritized over smaller companies. Um,
Kind of. So that's another thing too, is like to me, it seems like companies that are about our size are really like in the worst position. Because if you're a huge company, you get priority. But if you're a small company, you're shipping a small number of units, then it's easier to get those units onto a plane.
yeah. So again, I think Apple's getting prioritized, but I would be shocked if they're not seeing at least 2 to 3 week delays as well. Because them getting prioritized just means that some of it's getting prioritized, a lot of it still isn't. So, because it's so much, you know. Um,
I don't know, man. I think that's kind of speculative right there.
it's all speculative. We don't know what the fuck's going on. But we do know that there's 2 to 3 week delays getting onto a plane in China, and we know there's massive delays getting product off of boats in California.
You want to know how I know that? One, because well, the tracking just doesn't move for weeks at a time. Two, I was actually a few weeks ago. I was out in Long Beach, California. I was going sailing with one of my buddies. We went sailing to Catalina for the weekend. It was quite a great time. But they keep the boat at Long Beach Port. Now, if you don't know, Long Beach Port is just about the biggest port in the U.S., maybe in the world. I believe the two biggest are Long Beach Port, and then I think there's one in L.A. as well. That could be the same one. I'm not even really entirely sure. But we sail out of there, and side note, we actually almost got killed by one of the ships that was actually moving. That was a freaking adventure. But as we're pulling out, of the port, of the marina, and we get a little bit away from it, we just start to see dozens, and I'm talking dozens upon dozens of massive container ships. And if you've never seen these things in person, it's a sight to behold. These things are, I mean, they're the biggest single things I think I've ever seen, like size wise. They're just absolutely enormous. And there's just dozens of them just sitting outside the port of Long Beach, just waiting for a spot in the port so that they can be unloaded. And it's extremely, extremely backed up. I literally could not believe the number of them. It was insane. I mean, there were so many of them.
Yep, and that's where our stuff has been stuck. We finally got some stuff through customs apparently this week, or at least off the boat, and now they're going through customs. But I mean, sea shipping has been ridiculous. We're seeing shipments from that went out the end of January, still not delivered. That is a long time.
If you don't want to look at your calendar, it's currently mid-April.
That's 2.5 months, is it?
I think that's closer to 3.5. Or I guess, yeah, 2.5, 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Math isn't my strong suit.
Yeah, no. 2.5 months and not yet delivered. Which again, if you know that it's going to take 2.5 months and you're planning for it to take 2.5 months, not a problem. When you expect it to take 30 to 40 days and it takes 2.5 months, big fucking problem.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. You have to start planning for these things. Like you just can't be ordering inventory, shipping by express, expecting it to get to the US in 7 days. If it does, great, but you have to be calculating that it's going to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is you got to be preparing for it.
Yep.
And that's something that, we're doing now. I guess we've talked a lot about the problem, but what's the solution? Then we can move to talking more about that. I mean, the solution is just I don't know, man. They need to increase the capacity of, they need more planes. They need more ships. They need more people. Who knows if that will happen or how long that will take. I would imagine that someone's working on that. I would hope so, because there's a lot of money to be made there. But we obviously can't control the entire global supply chain. And there are other things that we're trying to look into priority shipping lanes, other shipping options. And we have so far not been successful with that. I got to think that there's something there. There are companies, there are people who have the right connections, who are able to get things on a plane very quickly and get it unloaded quickly. But it seems like for the most part, this is just the new reality. And to be honest, I don't see this going away anytime soon. I really don't, unless something dramatic happens in the world, which, as we've seen over the past year or two, is, well, not that unlikely. Apparently these things do happen. But unless, I don't know, I just don't see this getting better super soon. I think that for the foreseeable future, this is just something that we're going to be dealing with. And it's fine when, like we were saying, it's fine when you are planning for it. But it really just screwed us over when it just kind of came out of nowhere. And it was kind of a combination thing. We got hit with the 1-2 there with all these delays happening. And then we had a really, really good period towards the end of January, I think it was. And we sold a lot of units. It was super profitable. And then Chinese New Year and all these things just happened at the same time. And it resulted in us not having inventory right now. And now, okay, the one thing that I do want to mention that is pretty relevant to a lot of you guys listening, I would imagine, how is this affecting drop shipping? If you're drop shipping from AliExpress, if you're drop shipping from China with an agent, Scotty, I don't know how much you know about this. From my understanding, it's not really affecting that.
I have no idea. Not a clue.
Yeah. You're not a very good drop shipping guru, man, if you don't even know.
Can't be good. I would assume it's pretty bad, but I have no idea.
I haven't heard anything. In fact, I've heard from people that they're getting their orders faster than normal, which I think could actually make sense, because when you're sending individual units, see, the issue is you got to get space on a plane. And when you're shipping an individual unit, it's very easy to find room on a plane for one unit. It's probably not going to take that long. But when you're shipping a lot of units, it's a lot harder to get on a plane. And maybe there's something there where with all the increase in demand, all the planes, they're all operating at like max capacity, and maybe there's more planes going out than normal, and it's easier to get dropshipping products on. I don't really know, but from my understanding, I don't think this is really super affecting Chinese dropshipping.
I don't know. I just flat out don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely
I guess we'd be interested to hear from you guys. If any of you guys know, drop us a note in the Telegram and let us know what you've been seeing. But I guess the last thing, Scotty, what are the key takeaways? What are we doing about this? What's your thought process on this? What should the people take away from listening to us complain about the global shipping issue for the last 15 minutes?
You have to plan for the current shipping times and expect it to take 2.5, 3 months for sea shipping, expect it to take a month for express or air shipping. And you have to scale back your ads to a level where you can afford to run for a month without new inventory if you haven't shipped yet. So you just have to, in your calculations when forecasting how much stock you're going to have, you have to account for the current shipping times, not the expected normal shipping times. And then you have to adjust your ad spend accordingly.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the main takeaway. That's really what we've been doing. And in the meantime, we've just been eating the refunds, scaled down, still issuing refunds from the stage where we were doing about 4 or 5 times more in revenue. And, thankfully me and Scotty are not living paycheck to paycheck, so we're going to be okay. But
maybe.
Maybe. What do you mean maybe?
I don't know, man. We might not make it.
Yeah, you with your $2,000 a month living expenses and all the money that you saved up and never spent, you're screwed, man.
Yeah, gonna be rough.
So that's about it, guys. We just wanted to update you guys on what's going on. And this is one of the luxuries that we're afforded by, doing the thing, being involved with e-commerce ourselves, not just talking about it on this glorified podcast. We're doing it. And that's one of the issues. That's the main issue that we've been running into. And it's been the cause of many sleepless nights. Just kidding. You know why? Because we have really smart and intuitive ways of dealing with massive daily fluctuations. You like guys had that back there. Yeah, so that's what's going on, guys. Massive delays with shipping. It is what it is. Plan ahead and just be ready. If you're aware of this now, if you can kind of forecast that, take these delays into account, you should be able to be okay. But it's not ideal, and who knows what's going to happen. If I'm very curious to hear if any of you guys listening to this are anyone involved in the shipping industry, or if you're drop shipping. I would love to hear from you guys about what your experience with this has been, or if you're ordering inventory, you have a brand. I'd be curious to hear y'all's take as well, and because obviously, like, we're basing everything we're talking about here off of our experience, and who knows? I mean, maybe we're just getting screwed over. Maybe the Chinese are just like, yeah, these guys, they just delay their stuff. Maybe there's no global supply chain issue. Maybe we're just getting screwed. Who knows?
Maybe those Asian jokes are catching up to me.
Yeah, maybe the Asian jokes from last week. It's a possibility, man. It's a possibility. Maybe it is actually backwards. Maybe you're making the Asian jokes because the Asians are screwing our business over.
Something like that.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and say that we end this before Scotty comes and says anything controversial about Asians. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys in the next one.